Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today it's all about Warner Brothers and the current strikes and if the DCEU and DCTV will get up and running very soon. So we're breaking down this article from Variety, so if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so as you guys know, obviously Warner Brothers is among the big studios in Hollywood that has basically put a stop to all productions because they've refused to agree to WGA and SAG proposals about, trying to get a fair wage for all the people who work on these films and TV shows. But basically this article is titled Warner Bros. Discovery CFO says company wants to resolve strikes ASAP after disclosing up to $500 million in earnings hit from work stoppages. And also this is very important because this comes after, I believe it was David Zaslav, the head of Warner Bros. Discovery, said that the work stoppages weren't so affecting and they actually didn't lose too much money, but it turns out actually they did lose a lot of money. Obviously that was me paraphrasing there, so that's just something that I recalled that came out before this article. So let's go ahead and break it down. It's relevant to mainly the DCU because it's Warner Brothers, but also it's relevant to DCTV, aka the Arrowverse, because Warner Brothers Television is the one that basically produces all of this content for, say, Superman and Lois specifically, and so obviously they can't go ahead with the SAG strike and also with the writer's strike. It basically affects any film or TV production, and Warner Brothers is one of those big studios who needs to agree in order for things to move forward, so it basically impacts everyone. So the two Hollywood strikes that have grounded TV and film productions to a standstill are bad for business. Obviously that's quite obvious, that is the main goal of a strike, it's to impact business and basically force the companies to make a move, and so far they've just really held back, and it's been months and months since the writer's strike started and then the SAG strike started in the summer. And so Warner Bros. Discovery is working diligently, apparently, to resolve them as quickly as possible, according to their new CFO. They say it's an unfortunate situation, we have to get back to work. Speaking Thursday at the Bank of America Media, Communications and Entertainment Conference, WBD is working toward a solution in which everybody feels they are respected and rewarded fairly. Obviously they're not the only ones in charge, but they can individually as a studio, I believe, agree to what they are asking. However, we don't know how likely David Zaslav and the people, basically the higher ups at Warner Brothers, are to do that, but this CFO from Warner Brothers is saying that they are working on a solution towards basically what WGA and SAG want in order to move forward, because obviously it's impacting Warner Bros. Business big time, as you can probably tell and as we're going to read in this article. And so from an operational perspective, we're really shut down, the CFO says. There's very little content going into production right now. Obviously this is going to impact the future, as we've seen with Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois isn't going to be coming out until, at least next summer or maybe next autumn, aka the fall. And so we've seen that just in terms of my channel, like there's not much to cover because nothing much is going on. It's pretty much at a standstill right now, and same goes for the films and TV shows. So basically when everything goes back to normal, it's going to be packed, and obviously they're going to be trying to make as much money as they can, and there's going to be so many productions going on. Also it's going to delay a lot of productions because they're going to have to seek elsewhere to actually try and get those productions made, because there's going to be so many that are currently halted right now that want to get back. And so let's continue with this. So his comments come after Warner Bros. Discovery last week disclosed that it expects the dual strikes to result in $300 million to $500 million hit to full year 2023 earnings. Revising downward is expected adjusted earnings for the year to $10.5 billion to $11 billion. The WGA writer strike began on May 2nd, and the actors who are members of SAG-AFTRA joined them on the picket lines on July 14th. So obviously that is a big hit for Warner Brothers, $300 to $500 million from what they currently earn, and obviously that's just like a huge number, especially because you know, they're not making any new content, so they're not going to be making much money because they've only got like a select amount of content that is currently ready to be released. And you can see like some films are still coming out because those have already been made, but basically there is a lack of a backlog right now. So according to WGA estimates, if Warner Bros. Discovery agreed to the union's proposed contract terms, it would cost the company an additional $45 million a year, which, if they agreed to it, would be way less than getting hit with a $300 to $500 million loss because they aren't agreeing to the deal. Obviously that's just WGA, and then I guess you add on another $45 million for SAG, and you know, you have $90 million, but that's still way less than what they are losing this year. So it's just kind of absurd, in my opinion, that they're not agreeing to any kind of solution. And I like that the CFO has come out and said that, right, we gotta do this like ASAP, we got to go back to the drawing board and we've got to sort something out because they are losing a lot more money. And obviously I don't really care about the business side of things because that's just money, and big companies always lose money, right? But in terms of the content, I don't know why Warner Brothers and these big studios like Disney don't just accept this. Like, it's a tiny hit for them. $90 million a year for WGA and SAG is not that much of a difference compared to what they will be losing and what they are losing currently right now. So the CFO said that Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav is spending a lot more time with his peers in working to bring an end to the WGA and SAG-AFTRA work stoppages. They say, we are confident there will be a solution, and once that happens we will get back to normal production cadence as soon as possible, which is obviously to be expected because they are desperate right now, and you can tell from, you know, them coming out and saying all of this already. And so they go on to say that they had been hopeful the strikes would be over by early September, but obviously they aren't because it's nearly the end of September now. So WBD issued the warning to investors that the strikes would lower its total earnings, given that content releases would be subdued in Q3 and Q4, which happens after this Q2. Obviously that was like August time. And so while Warner Bros. Film slate would be affected to a certain extent because actors under SAG rules are forbidden to be promoting struck work, which basically means like if Aquaman comes out and they're still striking, Jason Momoa can't come out. Obviously the director can, and a couple of other things can, like you've seen that with Blue Beetle. Only the director of the film was able to come out. I was lucky enough to meet him. It was kind of strange not having the actors there, but like all of the people who are working on these films behind the scenes obviously support the writers and the actors, but it's the people that are higher up and it's the big money people in charge of these big studios that are refusing to do anything. But it's definitely a wake-up call for them, and telling investors and probably hearing the response from investors that they are losing this. I think the investors are going to be telling them, are you stupid? Like, do this, make the deal, and you're going to be losing way less money, and obviously we're going to be way less interested in potentially leaving you, because, you know, if business isn't good, like, they're going to start losing investors, and it's not going to be good for Warner Bros. Discovery. And so that is the whole Variety article. That is my breakdown of it. What do you guys think of it? Obviously this is definitely going to be impactful for the whole industry, because if a big studio like Warner Bros. Discovery actually speeds up the process and accepts the terms that WGA and SAG are proposing, that would obviously snowball and affect what's going on with the other studios, and hopefully they will be more willing to accept. I know smaller independent studios like A24 and Neon have already agreed deals with WGA and SAG, and obviously it's pretty much easier for them because they earn less money overall, and by just accepting the new terms they basically will lose way less, and obviously they have a lot more to lose than these big companies. So that's why I believe it's taken this long, because they think, okay, we can hold off on these guys, like they're going to lower their arse. But no, WGA and SAG are holding strong, and obviously there has been a very vocal response to what's been going on with these strikes, and I think this is going to end sometime towards the end of the year. You would think, if studios like Warner Brothers do wake up, but we'll have to wait and see. I think it's mainly going to be money motivated, and if investors start kicking them up the butt, then you're going to see some movement, and you're going to see shows like Superman, Lois finally start getting into pre-production for the new season, and then eventually get to production, and then you will start to see more and more shows, more and more films start to be developed properly, and we start to get back to that kind of normal flow of things that we were seeing before like May of this year when the writers first went on strike. So yeah, hopefully we get good news in the near future. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help get this video out there. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos if you're new around here. Also, remember, I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow night at 9 PM UK time, so come join me as we finally get back to live streaming. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. Also, if you're going to be featured in an upcoming Q&A video, please be sure to go to my community tab. There is a post up right now where you can comment underneath. But that about does it. Click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.